Hey guys, welcome to another time-lapse drawing. I say another time-lapse drawing, but this is actually going to be the first one I'm uploading, so I suppose welcome to the first time-lapse drawing. Is it speed painting? I have painted it, so I suppose I have to call it a speed painting as well. You're listening to me, P.H. Hardy, and this is Sohng, Prisoner of Fate, the new book cover. It's kind of weird because when I did the first book cover for Sohng, Prisoner of Fate, it was like I'd made some stylistic choices and I decided to go a certain way with the book covers because I was so focused on writing that it became evident that any energy and time I was spending producing book covers was going to be a waste of my time. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to waste my time making book covers, doing all these paintings and drawings when I need to be writing a series. But then after a while, I became frustrated that I didn't have any visual information I could share. I didn't have anything that represented the series in a way that I felt would be fitting, would do the series justice. So I was kind of like, okay, I need to do some artwork. I clearly need to do some character design. Why not look at the book covers and see if we can do something with them? And so a couple of sketches later, a couple of awful drawings later, I started thinking, nah, this was a bad idea. This was a terrible idea because I can't draw. I can't draw. I haven't spent enough time drawing. I'm awful at digital art. I can't paint with this tablet. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't colour. I give up. And so I was just gonna leave it there. I was gonna continue writing, make excuses, hopefully find myself in a position where I could perhaps pay a talented artist to produce some artwork for me. And I didn't feel any particular way about it. I was just like, okay, I'm not very good at this, so I'll let somebody else do it and I'll focus on writing. Then something happened. We lost somebody really close and important to us. And it wasn't long after that I realized that given the fact that I'd spent time working on my skills, I'd been given compliments, I'd sold pieces of art, I'd even set up a business a while ago in portrait art. And here I was making excuses because the first 2 or 3 drawings that I did weren't good enough. And bear in mind, not weren't good enough for anybody, weren't good enough for me. No one else saw those drawings. I didn't ask anyone for their opinions. Kind of felt selfish. Kind of felt like, okay, you're capable of doing something, but you refuse to do it because you feel like it's not good enough for you. So, okay. We had to reassess. did a bit of grit searching. Sometimes you got to search for grit. Grit's important. Without grit, everything goes soft. Everything gets mushy. Everything gets a little bit cloudy without grit. What grit does is it filters things. With enough grit, you can filter I was going to swear, but perhaps I won't. You can filter the nonsense out of your mind, and you can move past it. You can find something within you that is almost reminiscent of the story itself. The reason I'm writing the Tales of ARCA series. There's like a flickering flame in there. And you can douse that flame with all kinds of crazy thoughts, behaviors, inaction, deceit. You can lie to yourself as much as you like, but the flickering flame flickers on. And it only takes a gust of air. It only takes a deep, deep breath for the flame to just burn a little bit brighter. And so I don't know why I went about it this way, but I suppose if I hadn't, then I wouldn't be making this video. But for some reason I just decided one evening that, in fact it was an afternoon, became an evening, but I decided, do you know what? I'm going to draw a character from the series, and I'm not going to stop drawing until I'm satisfied. And so by maybe 2 a.m., 3 a.m, I'd finished the image you can see before you right now. And this wasn't going to be the first time that I'd done this. I'd done it before. I'd stayed up all night drawing. It's no biggie. It's like, any artist will tell you, like, once you get focused on your work, days can go by. But yeah, I mean, I was in a situation that I'd been in before. I'm working through the night and it's late and I'm focused and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. But in the back of my mind, I think I knew that this wasn't going to be the last time. And it was almost like this was the beginning of something. I could feel it. And the strange thing is that I'm one of those artists that frustrates people because I'm lazy. I don't practice. I did 1 year of college and even that was a waste of time. It was like an intermediate course and it was just a complete waste of time. I think I went to college 1 day a week and a 2-week project, I'd do the work in a day and hand it in and get the best grades in the class. It was almost a little bit embarrassing, to be honest, because I didn't try my best, because I just found it so easy. And that's not to say that I'm a great artist. I've got a lot to learn. I've got so much work to do. There's so much more I could find within myself if I applied myself and did the training and the practice, and the education was a part of my routine. But it never has been. And so I'm one of those artists that frustrates people, because if I apply myself, I can reach back and I can use reference that I have stored in my subconscious which is what I usually do. I mean, I know people use reference a lot, and I've seen other artists using reference pieces and copying the reference, copying the pose. And to them, that's practice. But for me, I find that I would much rather understand the human form, understand shape and form and light, shadow, texture, movement. I want to understand these things so that when I decide that I want to express myself in a particular way, I have the tools and the skills to be able to draw what it is that I want to draw, and not rely on having to find a reference which is somewhere close to what it is I want to depict. I know a lot of people might be frustrated with what I'm saying and you know, they might argue, you know, you should do this, you should do something different, you should always use reference, or you should at least practice with reference, you need to work on this, you need to work on that. And I hear you guys, don't get me wrong, I hear you. I know I'm not a great artist. I know, you know, maybe this is the beginning of my journey, I don't know. But I like to think that if you can draw, and I don't necessarily mean from imagination, because you don't really draw from imagination. You draw from reference. But those references, what you're referring to, is what you learned over the years about shape, form, perspective, anatomy, light. You've learned those things and you've remembered those things because you have a visual memory. You're able to use that information, and I'm not the kind of artist that can just practice a process and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm creating incredible art. I look at it as an experiment every time I put pencil to paper. It's an experiment, and sometimes it goes horribly wrong. Most of the time it goes horribly wrong, but I have faith. I have faith that at some stage, what I want, what I really want, the image that I see, that somewhere underneath a pile of images that I'm going to draw first, it's going to come to the surface eventually, and I'm going to visualize it, I'm going to draw it, and I'm going to make it and bring it into the world, and I'm going to enjoy it. And I think this first long night of drawing and painting was proof of that. It wasn't the case that I went out to try and create like a masterpiece for a book cover. Like I said, you know, it's stylized. It's a very stylized piece of art. But I knew what I wanted to see. And now I can look at it every day and remind myself that I'm capable of creating what it is I wanted to create. So if you're an artist and you're wondering, how do I improve my line work? How do I improve my lighting? How do I improve my rendering? How do I improve my poses, my anatomy? I'll be honest with you, it's going to be nothing but observation and practice. But I think the most important thing is observation. Because if you practice something over and over again, then you're going to get good at it. But that doesn't give you the tools to do something different. Like, I see a lot of artists using a very stylized sort of drawing technique. They'll do manga faces. manga bodies, and they'll paint it and render it, and it will look great. But when you get tired of seeing that and you want to draw something different, what happens then? Your muscles are so used to creating the same sort of images that things tend to sort of, the lines between them seem to blur, and your style becomes boxed in. And I think, in a way, I might be in that situation. I might find myself in that situation. You never know. You know, I think drawing the same characters from the same series in the same way, or in a similar way, as you'll see from my later drawings, that they're not all styled exactly the same. Yeah, it could become limiting. I don't know. Even the processes that I've been using this time around, I'm using a grayscale process so that I can just throw my highlights, my ambient lights, you know, my key lights, my ambient occlusions, you know, the shadows and what have you. So I can throw all that on my character and then think about the colours afterwards. And the thing is, I've only just started doing that. I think this image is probably one of the first times that I've gone from grayscale to colour. I've got a lot to learn, man. I'm the first to admit that. But yeah, Sohng, Prisoner of Fate. This guy, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to share these stories with people, because I'm excited to read them, and I'm excited to write them as well. So, and now I'm excited to depict the characters. I really enjoyed doing the artwork for this one. It's not my favourite though. Maybe I'll do a video in which you guys can vote for your favourite. Maybe we'll do a poll or put something on the website or something. But yeah, this isn't my favourite. Composition wise, I know things aren't as interesting as they possibly could be, but at the same time, I went for a concept. This is like a concept piece. I don't know if you can tell, but that, you know, I mentioned the lack of symmetry. The lack of symmetry is part of that concept, and hopefully you'll pick up on that. And even if you don't, if you haven't read the book and you don't understand, it's something to discuss, isn't it? It's something to think about, I guess. So anyway, I'm going to leave it here. If you want to see the finished piece and the colours that I used, some of the details that I added, I'll leave the link in the description below, and you can go ahead and check that out. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Tap that notification bell so YouTube can let you know when I upload a new video, and I'll share some more of my artwork and the Tales of ARCA series with you. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye.